is up, NFL fans? It is your boy, Kevin Phillips here with Adrian Revito, the Legit Football NFL podcast. We are back after a slight hiatus. Holidays, Adrian and I wanted to bring you guys a little bit of like a Christmas episode, if you will. And that's what this is. My mate from down under, Adrian Revito, is here with me by my side. How are you, Adrian?
I'm doing good, man. We had some pre-show tech problems, and this is on me again. So to the people watching and listening, I'm sorry we missed last week. That was my fault too. And hopefully, I'm going to blame Australia. We're upside down.
I'll blame Australia, but I won't let you take the fall. We will just blame the country as a whole.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or the continent? It's a continent, right?
I technically both. I think if continent includes New Zealand.
Okay.
We'll blame who really considers.
We'll blame New Zealand then, because there's no nationalistic pride for you with New Zealand, right?
Absolutely their fault.
Yeah, this is their fault. So, as you know, these shows are very casual, very unbuttoned. We do a little Thursday night preview, Thursday night breakdown. We talk about the last week's games, and then the big ticket item, the coup de grace, is our game previews for this upcoming week, which is going to be really fun because it's the holiday games, Adrian. Let's catch up, man. Since we last spoke, your Packers have clawed their way into playoff contention. What's up with that?
They've almost clawed their way back out. I mean, I'm losing my hair. You remember how cocky I was in the last show? I was like, relax, Giants. You're not. And then Tommy Cutlets comes in and
I couldn't believe that. I was devastated for you, bro. If you recall, we all actually picked the Bills to beat the Chiefs. So if you guys were ever questioning our football acumen, you don't have to anymore. So Adrian, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to talk football with you. Last night's game, not much to say really. Stafford looks like the old Stafford. He found a time machine during his rehab for his injury that really cost him his season last year. And he's a special player, and Puka Nacua is probably gonna take CJ Stroud toe-to-toe for rookie of the year.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I saw a stat. So Calvin Johnson, number one receiving, like season receiving yards.
Yeah.
Yep. Matt Stafford is QB. Number two, Cooper Kupp. Matt Stafford is QB. Puka Nacua, vying for like a rookie record. Matt Stafford is that dude. And if you give him the time to throw, I mean, I don't know, like some of these throws were just ridiculous.
Bonkers.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was thinking of. Bonkers. Like there was a 3rd and 4 in the second half. It honestly felt like he was shuffling to the side for like a minute because he's not super mobile, dude.
Right.
And then he just threw this dime sidearm to Tutu Atwell. His second TD to DeMarcus Robinson was just like, I mean, you know what it is, and I think this is the beauty of him. He makes it look easy. He does these throws where you're like, that's not that hard, but it is that hard. Like that second touchdown to DeMarcus Robinson, like the catch box must have been like this big, and he fit it in there. Like
he's got elite arm talent, and we knew that ever since he came out of Georgia, first overall pick. And he's put it on display his whole career, and he's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. And we're kind of watching something, maybe not this year, but we're kind of watching like a last dance of sorts.
Yeah.
And I know it's got Lions fans in their feelings. Anthony, has a Matt Stafford jersey hung up in his house. I'm actually not kidding. That's actually real. Armand, happy to see you, brother. Happy to have our main listener, Armand Mosin, in the chat. Give me Rams versus Lions in the playoffs. Armand, I could dig that. I think Lions fans would be so conflicted.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, it would be very bittersweet. But, that's the beauty of sports. So happy holidays to all our listeners. We do have to get that out of here. We got to make sure you guys know that we love you and we're happy that you are here. And we hope you have a really special holiday season.
I know, just while we're talking about Thursday night, like, look, I know Saints fans are kind of hanging for this season to be over. I know they want out of their Derek Carr situation, but a couple of positives, like he threw some dimes. Chris Olave, I know you showed him some love. I think he won you a fantasy game.
Oh yeah,
I think of it. Yeah,
big time.
He's a dude. On that first drive, 3 first downs, all him. He was just kind of delivering all night. The losing game to have his sort of stat line was ridiculous. They kept it closer, I think, the Saints at the end. But I don't know about you. I never kind of felt like the Rams were losing that game, even after the second. They brought it within 1 score. I was like, it's done.
No shot, man. Yeah, they dominated. It was beautiful to watch. Hall of Fame Stafford work. And dude, like I said, Puka Nacua, rookie of the year. I don't think
You reckon the Hall of Fame
for who?
for
Stafford?
Stafford? Yep.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, for sure. I guess
Mhm,
the Super Bowl helps. That adds
mhm.
to his resume.
What about you?
Yeah, look, it's weird. I mean, you never really. When I think Matt Stafford, I don't like. I certainly don't think like, oh, first ballot Hall of Famer, but um, I do like. I think his resume now that he's got the Super Bowl on there, he absolutely deserves it. And this is no disrespect to Anthony's Lions. I think he was kind of wasted away a little bit there in a team that was struggling, but he was always a great quarterback. And even now, he's getting on in his time, but he's still playing. I would top 7. I'd say top 7, especially when he's got protection.
He got Barry Sanders, man. He got Kelvin Johnson, man. And unlike those players who just retired and dipped, he did get a second chance, and he did prove that he has it. And I'm super happy to see that. I hope it continues for him at least for the rest of this season. I think the Rams are a dark horse in the NFC. I really do. Um,
Yeah, I'm
as for the
glad you won money.
Saints,
Oh, sorry. I was
oh
gonna say
no,
I
you're
lost
good.
out.
Oh, you missed it. What was your
I
what was
missed
your
it on a
bet?
Tyler Higbee. All I needed was a Tyler Higbee touchdown, and that was a 7-leg parlay, and that was the only
Damn.
missing.
Do they
Yeah.
have Prize Picks in Australia?
No,
Dude,
no.
you got to check it out, man. Prize Picks is amazing. It's one of my favorite apps. They have so many crazy promos. They did a promo last night where if you got somebody to sign up, you got $1 for every point scored in that game.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
In
I
the
woke up to $52 in my Prize Picks account because of last night. Because that game
Nice.
was, who would have thought shootout? They saw Saints Rams and they were like, we're getting off. We're gonna make this seem like a good promo, but really we're getting off scot free. But no, sir, they did not. It was a nice little bag.
You guys get a lot of promos that betting promo thing. There was one that we had very recently, and it made news because they paid out a lot of money. The largest payout of any promo in Australia. Um, and basically what it was is you could pick any game, like when you joined up and picked any game at up to $100, and you got 10-1 odds. I think it was. Doesn't matter
Wow.
favorite. Doesn't matter what it was.
Wow. Money
Yeah,
line. 10-1 money
yeah,
line games. Wow. You just picked the blowout.
yeah. Oh, well,
Wow,
and
that's
that's why
crazy.
they got the largest payout in Australian history from a promo. But anyway, I rant. We're talking TNF. You were saying something before I jumped in on my money take.
Oh, no, you're good. Thomas is here. I want to say I'm super
Thomas.
happy to see Thomas. He's the absolute legend. Um, and he says the Lions don't want to see LA in the first round. Mark my words, they'll be going home. Anthony will mark those words. Anthony will fight
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
But who cares? As for the Saints, I will just say I think you could do a lot worse than Derek Carr. You know I don't hate Derek Carr. He's the punching bag of the league for some reason. I don't really understand it. I think you could do a lot worse than Derek Carr. You could surely do a lot better. He's
And do.
total middle of the pack, but he's not this horrible quarterback that people say he is. He balls a little bit.
I think Saints, look, they're a bit like Packers fans. They've been spoiled for a long time, and now they're feeling that, the feels of a subpar quarterback.
Yeah.
And look, the Saints army, I think they want Derek Carr out. They want a new head coach, and yeah,
Yeah, stop crying. Coming
yeah,
from a 20-year Bills fan who didn't see the playoffs until they were a grown man. Stop crying. And that's for you too, Adrian. Saints just had to get Derek Carr because they have to be competitive with that much committed cap. Dennis Allen did it for his job. It's true. It's true. And unfortunately, I do believe this is going to be Dennis Allen's swan song. I think he's kind of a little bit of a lame duck coach. I think he's gone
yeah.
personally, and I think he should be.
Kind of rightfully, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's good for the Thursday night football recap. We have a Adrian Revito special here, playoff
Yeah.
predictions. Who
So,
is this year's Cinderella team?
so I'm putting a couple of things up. I know they're covering our face,
They are a little bit.
but
We'll do one of these.
yeah, just like move other way. So these are the teams that are kind of on the bubble and their playoff percentages. And I just wanted to talk very quickly about who you think. Now I know we're both going to say Packers and Bills, and that's great. But
Yeah.
who you think might sneak into this? Let's start maybe NFC on the left here.
Yeah. So, wow, that's a really interesting list. I'm not inspired,
No,
really at all. I would say I'm probably the most inspired by your Packers, honestly.
say it, sing it.
Yeah. No homerism aside, but I think your Packers definitely have. If
I
Jordan
love
Love
the
can,
optimism.
yeah, I do. If Jordan Love can keep doing what he does, he can ball out. He can get him there. I think the Seahawks, if Geno steps up and does what we know Geno's capable of doing, what he proved he could do last year, there's no doubt that they're going to be competitive. On the AFC side, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's kind of weird to even talk about it, but I don't really even think of the Bills as Cinderella anymore. I kind of think
Nah.
they have, I would say, uh above 50% chance to make the dance. And I would say that if things go the way I think they're going to go, they'll have a shot to play for the division in week 18.
Well, so they're currently 64%. I agree with you when I say that they wouldn't be a Cinderella story. I think that to me the Bills are getting in. That's like it's not even like they're on the bubble. The Bills are getting in.
It's weird because they were 11th last week, bro. Like I know you're right. Like it feels so certain, but this team has been fluky and weird. So I agree with you, and I'm gonna hedge myself just for emotion's sake. I do think they'll go, and I honestly I'm going to the next 2 games. By the way, I haven't
Oh,
said that
yeah?
on the show yet. Yeah, I'm
Bills.
attending LA tomorrow night. I'm going to the game, and then I'm catching a red eye, and I'm going to catch Bills Pats in Buffalo. So it's
I
gonna
think
be a
you're going
hell
to
of
see
a
two
week for
very nice
me.
wins. You're going to
I
see two
hope
very nice
so.
wins.
It's this year's Bills, though, man. They beat the Chiefs, they beat the Cowboys, but they lost to Mac Jones, and they almost lost to Tyrod. Like let's just keep it all in perspective. I think they've
I think
righted the ship. I think Joe Brady has significantly upgraded Ken Dorsey. I was never the biggest Dorsey fan, so but that's my take. I mean, if I had to pick a different one in the AFC, it would probably be the Texans because I love them. They're my boys. They're my
yeah.
special boys.
Yeah, I have to. I have to agree with you on that. Look, I think if I had to pick, and I'll bring the banner back up really quickly for 1 sec, but I think if I pick this, obviously I want the Packers, and I do feel like they've got a good shot here because with the Rams winning, they've got the head-to-head over the Rams. The Saints had it over them, so they really just need to get back into contention. The Falcons, to me, are dead in the water if they make it in. Like no
Yeah,
one wants to see them in.
I want Arthur Smith fired.
Yeah, I would. We'd love to. I'd love to. I don't even know if there's no percentages there, but I'd love to see a Tommy Cutlets. I love an underdog.
Yeah.
But really, look, realistically, the Packers are probably the most likely there. That's my take. The Bills are a lock, and I'm sorry, I don't want to jinx it.
Knock on wood.
Otherwise, yeah, knock on wood. But otherwise, I would put the Broncos in there. I feel like I know they broke their winning streak, but
they had a hell of a run.
They did, and they're playing better. Sean Payton's got humming pretty well. I feel like next year they're going to be pretty competitive.
I think so too.
But that's our Cinderella stories.
I love it. I'm glad we got to talk a little bit about the playoffs because it's not that far away. Like there's still a solid fifth of the season left, but that's a fifth. This is a long league, a long season, and we're at that point. It's time to start really thinking about what's going to happen. And unfortunately, I've distanced myself greatly from the playoff calculators the last couple of years. Haven't had to think about it. But this year, me and the New York Times playoff simulator, we're best friends. They know my order by heart. So let's hope that this is the last year in the Josh Allen era that I have to be sweating seeding.
I said it from the start, and I said it, and I stand by it. I still put the Bills in the playoff against the Niners. I still think Josh Allen is just it is like
you never back down. They were 6-6. Their playoff chances were like literally 8%, and you were like, they're my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, I'm telling you. It's just this is just when Josh Allen is like when he's being Josh Allen, not the Josh Allen that turns the ball over. He just does stuff that you just don't see other quarterbacks do, like outside of maybe Patrick Mahomes, and even then. Anyway.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so you kick us off, right? Because
yes,
the next one. Yep. So Adrian, we got a game preview situation. We started a little late, so we'll try to keep it tight. We'll try to be quick with these. We'll give our thoughts on the game. We'll give a score prediction. The other person will respond, give their score prediction, and we'll have you guys out of here with a million times more NFL knowledge than you had coming in, a million times more entertained than you were coming in, and we'll see you after New Year's.
All right. So let's start with that. So let's start with the Bengals and Steelers. All right. So Bengals 2-point favorites. Jake Browning has been playing good. Can we just agree with that?
Really 76%
solid. Completion percentage. The highest completion percentage by QB over their first 4 career starts. Look, I think this is a lot about coaching. That's my honest opinion. And I was not very high on Zach Taylor prior to this, but I feel like Jake Browning coming in, that's a sign of a well-coached team that he can play well. Jamar Chase is out this week. That's going to hurt them a little bit. But, the Steelers, the Steelers are not good. That's the other side of this. Like, I know Tomlin is a great coach, but they're just not playing well. They got Mason Rudolph starting. We all remember how that sort of experiment went. And Jake Browning's Bengals are averaging 32 points per game. The Steelers have scored 41 over the last 3. They're in a bit of a skid.
Not
They're
cute.
shockingly and shockingly, like they're kind of worse without Matt Canada. Is that
Yeah,
weird? Like,
everybody was dancing on Canada's grave, man. And then what do you know?
mhm.
You give it 2 weeks, and we're right back where we started, man. You can give a chef, a 5-star chef, ingredients from McDonald's, and you're getting McDonald's. It is what it is.
Yeah. Like that meme where like there's like that guy on the grave like this. That was Steelers fans when Matt Canada was
100%.
out and
Now
hasn't
that's
won
Matt Canada on the Steelers' playoff chances.
correct.
It took a bath, and there's a lot of talk. I don't know, Adrian. There was a story in Legit Football today about Mike Tomlin possibly being traded.
Well, I heard recently actually similar like just theories about whether he'd want a fresh
Trouble in
start.
paradise.
Look, he would be the most sought after coaching candidate.
Yeah.
What 16 years of winning seasons?
He's incredible. I think it's
Yeah.
non-losing seasons. I think he might have had some 500s in there.
He had some. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, look, if he goes the end of the year, he'll be a hot commodity.
Yeah.
He's got the defense playing like pretty well.
Yeah.
They've slowed down from what they
Secondary
started.
sucks.
Yeah, it does. TJ Watt is probably carrying that defense.
You got to target fantasy matchups against the Steelers. I'm picking Bengals for my player props this week. I think T. Higgins is going to have a big game. He finally showed up. He was finally the T. Higgins we all thought he was. Too late to do anything about it for my fantasy team, but he finally showed up and had a good little game.
So much salt. I can hear the salt in your voice.
Extra sodium. Give me your prediction, sir. Bengals, Steelers. What do you got?
2017 Bengals way. I think they keep it close.
Yeah, man. And look, I want the Bengals to lose because they're the biggest threat for the Bills in the playoffs right now. Because if the Bills are forced to stay in the wild card spot, they lose the tiebreaker because they lost to the one healthy Joe Burrow game that the Bengals had this season. So I'm inclined to say I'm not going to wish cast. I don't think the Steelers are going to win. I want them to. I don't think they're going to. I think it's going to be a little more lopsided than you. I'm going to say 27 to, I'll say 15.
Yeah. Look, you know what? If you're holding on to Tomlin's hopes of a winning record, the Steelers need a win here.
Yeah, they have to.
So what did you say? 27 to 15?
27 to 15. Yep.
All righty. Yep, boys.
Woo! All right. I got a lot to talk about here, Age, and I need your help actually because I'm so in my head with this one. Because there's all this hullabaloo about it. I have emotions about it. But at the end of the day, you see the spread. Bills at Chargers. Chargers are 12-point home dogs, which you don't say very often.
This is the first game without Staley, right? First game without Staley?
Correct.
Yeah.
He got fired after the 63-21 drubbing that the Raiders put on him, and rightfully so. And we've been saying for 2-3 years that Staley should be gone, and it's kind of unbelievable he lasted that long. Good for him. I don't really know how to feel about this, Adrian, because here's what I think. Logic tells me that the Bills are firing on all cylinders. They're playing the best that they've played all season. They just dominated, put their thumb on, and crushed Dallas with everything that they had. Dallas didn't even show up in that game because Buffalo. And, a lot of people are saying Cowboys are frauds. I watched the game. They couldn't do a thing. It doesn't matter if they had played a perfect game. Buffalo was one step ahead, and they got out coached. Like the Dallas didn't have the answers for the D, they didn't have the answers for the O, and straight up, it was a drubbing. What's up?
Bills are frauds narrative. Just looked at the stat line, and it was a weird stat line.
Yeah, I was talking about Cowboys though. Bills, I think, are coming back. People were saying the Cowboys were frauds. Yeah, I don't think so. I think the Bills just dominated them. I think the Bills they outcoached them. So then you have the other side of it. Justin Herbert's out for the year. Keenan Allen's not suiting up. Austin Eckler's a shell of himself. Hopefully he's not over the hill. I mean, Brian McFadden and his running back age charts would suggest that this is around the time when Austin Eckler would start sucking, but I don't want to believe it. He's a champion of the fantasy.
It feels like community. It's right though.
It does. Correct. It's starting to feel like he might be over the hill, but please God, no. So it doesn't really feel like there's any sort of a recipe for the Chargers to compete in this game, right?
Well, I agree with you, but this is the only thing I'll say. This is the only, and there's no science to this, but Rich Bisaccia took over the Raiders, first game he win. Jeff Saturday took over, I think it was the Colts, first game they win. Antonio Pierce, like you get that, like the old coach is out, the locker rooms like all right, it re-energized, even if just for a second.
You're right.
And that's the only fear I have here.
I agree.
Plus, this season is drunk. This season does not know how to drive.
It's so drunk. And this absolutely could be one of those weird fluky games. I'm freaking praying with everything in my heart that it's not. I'm gonna take the Bills here, and I'm gonna take them to cover. I think Buffalo's gonna win this game pretty big. I'll say 38-17. I think Buffalo's gonna beat LA in their house handedly in front of my own two human flesh eyes.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Bills will win. I think I won't get them to cover only because I think there'll be some garbage time. We're getting to the end of the season. I think
Yeah,
the Bills take a healthy early lead and then let the Chargers with some soft coverage for some garbage time touchdowns. Let's say 30-20.
13-20.
No, 30-20.
Oh,
Bills
30
win.
to 20. I can dig that. I can dig that. So you do have the Chargers covering.
Did I say yeah? Chargers. So Bills. Sorry, Bills not to cover.
That's heavy.
Chargers.
That's
Yeah.
heavy. I hope they don't. I hope they don't.
I look for your sake. Just for your own sanity at that game. I hope the same.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, it is time. This
Oh
is
yeah.
this is definitely
And we back. It's
this
dynamite
is
time.
absolutely dynamite game. So Commanders and
Strap it
Jets.
up.
I think I'm up first with the Jets. So wrap this dynamite on the was we are. For anyone who doesn't know, this gives us a minute to talk about a game before we blow it to smithereens, and we are off. So the Jets defense is the only side of the ball that you can really trust here. Every other unit on the field sucks. It's the best defense. Sorry, the worst offense against the worst defense. But I'll leave the Commanders to you. And I'll say, look, say what you will about Joe Douglas. He's put together a pretty good defensive line. I think we can all agree on that. Zach Wilson comes off the bench, has the best game of his career for the Texans, and you say it all the time, like, oh, what are they going to do? Bench me again? And then he just goes and lays an egg against the Dolphins. Absolute egg. Worst offensive of the league. Jets will win this 13-10.
Wow, that's shocking. Okay, Commanders, Sam Howell is not that guy. And we've been saying he's not that guy. And people have been trying to tell us he is that guy because of his statistical production. But he has no pocket presence. He's inaccurate. He's irresponsible with the football. I think the Jets are going to give him hell. The only problem is, you're right, that the other side of the ball, I don't have much faith in Zach Wilson either. But I have enough faith that he can get something going. I still think I'll take the Commanders, though. I think I'll take the Commanders 20-17. Yes, sir.
I missed your prediction there because it was blowing up.
20-17 Commanders. I think they'll do enough.
Yeah.
Armand wants us to know Trevor Siemian is starting. Thank you for that. And that's the correct call.
Oh, I almost take back my 13. Now, I see a defensive touchdown here because I do, like I said, the only side of the ball I trust is the Jets defense.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, anyway, it's terrible.
All right, next game is you, right?
Yes, it is.
Fired up.
All right. Browns and Texans. Now, the Texans are your darling. So I'm sorry to take this game off you, but I feel like it's an adequate week to take it because they're so banged up. They are so banged up. CJ Stroud.
This isn't my Texans.
No, concussion. Might miss his second game from concussion. Nico Collins hasn't practiced. Noah Brown is limited. Will Anderson Jr. hasn't practiced. Tank Dell is done for the season, which was a big one. So this is not the Texans, you're right, that you loved. And so I consider this is the teams who will exit in the wild card round bowl because the Browns are also banked up. The Texans and Browns may get in, but I do think they're not going further than one win in the play. They're not even going to get a win in the playoffs. So anyway, I just think this is not a super interesting game to me because of that factor. When the Texans are healthy, they're super exciting. And whether you like their injuries or not, you can agree this has been a successful year for the Texans. What was the over-under? Do you remember? Was it?
I think it was like 7.5.
Yeah, this is a successful year. They've got their QB. They've got a weapon in Tank Dell, assuming he comes back from injury. The same man. They're going up against a pretty tough defense that is not playing as good as it was. You know how high I was on the Browns defense at the start of the year. They've sort of slowed down a little. Joe Flacco starting for the Browns, playing okay. I mean, playing okay.
Dealing.
Yeah. He's kind of a reminder where that's why people go for veterans. They're not going to be able to move, but you protect him and he can carve. So he can barely jog, but he can carve. So I don't really know which way this could go. I could see the Browns just keeping this super low scoring, or I could see the Texans just balling out and saying we're still that dude. We don't need all our pieces, and this is a coaching game for D'Amico Ryans to show his cognoles. Let's say that. So, but look, let's say the Browns keep this nice and close. Joe Flacco does just enough to get them through, and we will say 23-16 Browns away.
Yeah, 23-16. I like it. I think you're onto something. Texans. I like what I've seen from Case Keenum, believe it or not. I didn't at first. I thought he was looking like a goat and not in the good kind, like the bad kind of goat. And he
He's
went
done it
out
before.
there. He went out there and did what he had to do. He went out there and won them the game, and that's the sign of a good backup QB. Is just it doesn't have to be pretty, but give your team a fighting chance when your starter is healthy.
For sure.
Shocking how he pulled that one out. But I think the Browns, they've had a little bit more time to adjust to this new sort of situation that they're in. And Flacco has been, like I was saying earlier, and like you said, borderline, I would say special for somebody his age to just be coming in off the couch.
Isn't that
And
weird
just,
to say? Isn't
I
it
know,
weird to
like
say out loud?
he's washed, dude. No,
Yeah.
he's not though. Like he's washed age wise, but not performance wise. He's doing well, and really happy to see that for him personally. I think, yeah, I love my Texans and I'll fight for them tooth and nail, but not in this game. I think the Texans are going to lose here. I'll say Cleveland takes it. I'll say 27 to, I'll say 23. I think Keenum's got enough magic to cut it close.
Love it. You're up.
Lions at Vikings. Vikings are 3-point home dogs. Over under is 47. And the Vikings are without Kirk Cousins. Josh Dobbs' fairy dust has run out. Remind me who it is that's starting for them again?
Not Jaron Hall. God,
It's not Nick Mullins, right?
Yeah, no, actually, it is Nick Mullins.
It's Nick Mullins. Who's the backup for? Oh, CJ Beathard is the backup for Jacksonville. I'm confusing all the backups. There's too many backups this year, buddy. I can't do it. I'm sick of it. No more. Say again. Oh, you're breaking up. Adrian's breaking up. I'm just going to start previewing the game. So I think the Lions are going to have a very good shot at getting out to an early lead and probably boat racing the Vikings. 3-point spread feels kind of unfair to the Lions for what they've done. They did just kind of put a throbbing on the Broncos on national TV. So I'm kind of inclined to think that I might like the Lions in this game, and I think I like them more than +3. I think or -3. I think I'll take the Lions to win this game. I'll say 33-18, Adrian.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay, cool. All right, great. So 32 to 13. I think there's a little bit of
33 to 18.
Australian internet. I won't add much to your analysis. I was trying to sort myself out as we go, but look, let's say similar. I think the Lions will take this one. I think, and I hope they do because the Vikings are still in a playoff seed right now. So
right,
I will say 30 to 13. I'll keep close to a
blowout. 17-point game. Love it.
All right. My boys.
Let's go.
Now, I'm giving myself sad music.
No.
You know what it is? They came out, charging the Chiefs.
So when you play the sad music, I can't hear you talk. So I'm glad that you have it. The mood is set, but you can talk now.
Maybe I think I need to get very close to my mic with music on, but
you're back.
The music, the mood is there. So
yeah,
the Packers have, they sort of were gifted. They earned a really tougher part of their schedule. They won through, and then they come into this part where it's like, okay, should be easy. Their playoff chances were something like 60%, and then you drop a game to Tommy Cutlets, and then you drop a game. Now, Baker Mayfield, to his defense, was the first person ever to come into Lambeau Field and post a perfect passer rating. Dude was playing like Tom Brady. Yeah. He was playing fantastic. But it's easy to play fantastic when you're playing Joe Barry's defense. He's the one. The Derek Carr to the Saints fans is Joe Barry to Packers fans. Like, we just had enough of this soft coverage, letting these guys pick up 10, 15, 20 yards at a time. He reminds me of, remember last year, the Browns defense, I think it was Joe Woods. I could be getting that name wrong, but he played super soft because all they want to do is take away these explosive plays. So you just run on them, you pick up 10, 15 yards at a time, 7 yards on first down, and you just march down the field. And then they brought in Jim Schwartz, who gets the ball out quick and he pushes the line up. And that's made all the difference. And this is Joe Barry. If you look at there's some plays, particularly when they needed a first down, they needed 10 yards for a first down, the Bucks, and he had two high safeties like lined up a mile away. What are you doing, mate? Now, he was playing against Baker Mayfield, who is admittedly has his moments where he's hot. Now they're playing the Panthers offense that is weak. They're not going to be able to take advantage of that poor defense that Joe Burrow is playing. He acknowledged that it was a bad game. Hopefully, he learns a little bit from it. But Bryce Young with his poor wide receiver core, the offense line is just a turnstile. Here's a funny one: the Panthers haven't run a single play in the fourth quarter where they've had a lead. Both of their
Jeez.
wins came on a game ending, like a walk-off field goal. So
They suck, dude. I'm so sorry.
hey,
Thomas, if you're still in the chat, I apologize. Your Panthers
yeah,
suck.
that's hard, man. So I think the Packers do take care of this. I hope they keep themselves in contention. And I actually think they get right a little bit here. So I'm going to say 28-6.
Ooh, that's wow. You got a
Yeah,
thropping.
I think if you can't take advantage of the defense, the Packers offense was actually playing really well. Like even against the Bucks, they did well. It's just that you can't, when the Bucks score on 3 straight drives, like what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah, your boy needs to go. This has to be his last season in Green Bay because
Joe Burrow needs out.
we don't know if Love is a franchise guy, but like we know enough to know that he gets another shot, I think.
Funnily enough, I think he is. I think he is going to be a franchise guy.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
I mean, dude, he's showing enough, like for sure. Like, I think it's a little better, but comparable to what Fields did towards the end of last year, where you saw enough in him to see, like, oh, he can do it. He can go out there, put it together, and be that guy. You kind of wish it happened earlier, and you kind of wish it happened more consistently, but that's what it takes to become a franchise quarterback. There's growing pains, so you can't waste the early part of his career on bad defenses. So get your boy out of there because there's good personnel on the Packers defense. There's no excuse to be that bad. I do think the loss of Rasul Douglas is going to I think you guys, I don't know if you knew what you were getting rid of at the time.
I think if we weren't on such a skid at the time, they would have kept him
100%. And he is so special, dude. I can't even tell you how grateful I am that he's a Buffalo Bill.
It is unfortunate, Tom.
Yeah, we're so sorry, dude. But so I'll just say in Tom's defense, it's 1 year and there's a future that is different than the one than your present, at least, no matter what that is. The trade to get Bryce Young is looking like it could go down as one of the worst trades of all time if they don't get their stuff together. But that's why they have a whole offseason. Trevor Lawrence didn't look great his rookie year either. And I don't know, Adrian, are you familiar with this current, really quick before I'm going to finish my thoughts on this game, but have you heard the discourse about Trevor Lawrence right now on Twitter?
I have not.
There's discourse about Trevor Lawrence in that people are saying he's overrated and that he's no better than, like a Zach Wilson or like a bust kind of player.
He's not a bust, but I think if you think about the bar that was set for him, he was generational talent. He hasn't shown that. He does some beautiful things, but he also does some average things. Like, anyway,
yeah,
he does. But he's not Zach Wilson. Like,
I just think the discourse is like unfair because I think wins are not a quarterback stat. You have to look at so much more than just win-loss record to truly identify and assess quarterback talent. Anyways, that's my sidebar. Bryce Young could have a Trevor Lawrence-esque leap. They got to get their stuff together, but I like your Packers to win, and I'll say a little closer, a little tighter than you have it. I'll say 35-17, but anyway that the Packers don't move the ball.
The only thing I'll say, which is against them, they've got about, this is not exaggeration, about 15 starters out or injured right now.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Question: you like Jordan Love to have a big game this week?
Yeah.
Would you start him over Geno Smith in fantasy?
Who the Seahawks got?
Titans.
Yep.
You would? I'm torn. That's my choice.
AJ Dillon injured, Aaron Jones injured, Emmanuel Wilson, which is their 4th string running back. So they're going to go through the air here, and the Panthers defense sucks again. Sorry, Thomas.
All their receivers are injured. Yeah. All right.
I would be
good stuff. Good stuff. Next one, Seahawks at Titans. Oh, we're back. All right. So, I think that the Titans are one of those pesky, scrappy, plucky teams, if you will, who have a lot going for them. But I think they're a future play. They're not the team this year. We know that to be true. I like Will Levis. I love the moxie he's shown. I was a fan of his coming in, and I think he's a little bit proving me right. I think there are things he needs to grow upon, but he's so young. He's just starting, I think he'll figure it out. So the running game is cooked. I think Derrick Henry's over the hill. Unfortunately, I think it might be time. I think he needs to go to a contending team next year where he can just be
Is he the age bracket? Is he in the age
I
bracket?
think
What's
he's
his
in with the charts, you mean?
the McFadden charts? Yeah.
Damn, Brian McFadden and his running back charts, man, killing me.
Aaron
But I
Jones is the
think,
same.
yeah, true. And I did go out and get Aaron Jones in our league, thanks to you freaking bum. And you traded me an aging wide receiver when you had my
He got you into the
cannolis and a
playoffs.
vice grip. I hate
He
you.
got you into the playoffs,
He
didn't
did.
he?
He did. But I didn't freaking win, man. Joe, founder of Legit Football, beat me by over 100 points. First time in my life that's happened. And it happened in the playoffs. Great. I'm proud.
That hurts.
Other side of the ball, I think Gino's going to move the ball. I think Gino coming back, he's probably getting healthier. He's probably going to be fresher. They had an amazing comeback win with Drew Lock at the helm last week. Can't help but think it wouldn't have even been that close if Gino was in for the whole game, because I think that the Eagles are cooked on defense. But I love the prospects of the Seahawks having a nice little get back game. Walker's trending towards missing, which does hurt them a little bit. And it's only a 2.5 point spread. Oh, Adrian, I'm going to New York where sports betting is legal. I might have a field day on these games. I'll take the Seahawks to win, and I'll take the Seahawks to cover. I'll say they're going to win the game. I'll say 27 to, I'll say 19.
27 to 19. You know, actually, I like the idea of it because there are some good spreads that I think here. So just to anyone who's watching in the chat, drop your lock spread. I want to put a parlay on.
I'm doing a parlay.
I'm
definitely going to parlay Seahawks -2.5, Lions -3. I might do Browns -2.5 as well. I might do all those. Do 3-leg parlay, throw 50 on it, turn it into 250.
It's got to happen. Yeah. Look, I agree. The Drew Lock game last week was cool. I don't know if you saw the interview after. Like, it was nice. He might have played himself into a nice backup spot, which is what you kind of perceive for Drew Lock.
Yeah.
I think Gino's going to come back and kind of I guess lift them a little bit. I do think they'll keep it closer. The Titans have they've surprised us the last couple of weeks. So let's say, look, I think this will be a closer game. I think I'm going to say 28 to 25.
Still got my 3 points though, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a safe spread.
Text me. Let's link up on this parlay, because sports betting is not legal in California. I have to do player props, and it's ugly and not fun, and I lose a lot of money. So
yeah, look, fortunately it's betting where I am. Betting is fine where I am. So I love a good parlay, and I do put one.
Go ahead.
I put one bet on every week, which is like a 20-leg parlay, and I'll put like a couple bucks on it. And if I win ever, it's going to be like 200 grand, because it's just ridiculous.
It's going to happen.
I've come 4 short out of 20 legs a couple times. So
it's coming, and just remember to Venmo me a quarter of your winnings, because
you got it.
About sports together. Adrian, take it away with Jags at Buccaneers.
All right. So we talked about the Trevor Lawrence discourse that I wasn't aware of, but he's also in concussion protocol. He's been moving okay since the high ankle sprain, but he's also not, his accuracy is off. Now, I don't know if that's a connected thing. He might just be having some bad games, but his accuracy hasn't been as good since that ankle sprain. He's actually, since the ankle sprain, he's 4 to 5 touchdowns to interception, which is not Trevor Lawrence stats. So they're on a bit of a skid. They're in real danger. Actually, if the Texans win this, they're in serious danger if they don't win this game. So the Jags have got to kind of keep their playoff hopes alive here. And they're going against the Bucks at the wrong time. Like this, and I've said this a couple of times. Like, there's times where you can go against a team, it's just the wrong time. They're just getting hot. Whether the Bucks do anything in the playoffs is not at the point. They're just playing well at the moment. Baker is playing fantastic. And I'm not just saying against them, but he's just been playing better. The previous week he had a poor game, but he turned it on when he needed before the Packers game. His last 2 throws were amazing. And that's what won them the game. Chris Godwin is just like refreshed and owning the slot. Mike Evans is playing as good as he always is. Rashad White, when he doesn't have to run the ball, he's still a weapon. He's still a weapon in the passing game. And they're going against the Jags run D that's really good, but the Bucks don't need to run the ball. I think they can go through the air and they can still win. So I'm actually picking the Bucks here, and it's a pick 'em game. So Vegas agrees with me, but I do think the Bucks are going to take this one, and I'm going to say 27 to 24.
Yeah, no, I think your analysis is spot on. You did take the Bucks, right?
Yeah,
that's shocking. It is a pick 'em. The Bucks have been randomly on a tear lately. Like, if you didn't know, like if you weren't aware of that, you didn't know that was the case, because they're kind of undercovered. They're kind of like an underdog, like just like their quarterback. I love the saying, the team takes on the identity of their quarterback. This Bucks team feels very much like a Baker Mayfield team.
It does.
and I'm having a great time watching them play. I always think they're kind of underrated and left for dead a little bit. But I think they have a lot of moxie. I think they have a lot of swagger as a team. God knows they have talent. They won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. People forget. So
With a
you
lot of
got
the
to
same pieces, not Tom
Yep.
Brady, but a lot of the same pieces.
You got to show love. You got to give credit where it's due. Their weapons are coming on. Mike Evans is one of my favorite players ever, a definite Hall of Famer. I think Chris Godwin finally had a good game last week. I think Chris Godwin's good. Rashad White is McCaffrey Jr. Not quite
Yeah.
McCaffrey, not quite at that level, but he's got a similar skill set. He wins in similar ways. And this year, he's one of the best fantasy football assets you could have drafted. If you drafted Rashad White, you're probably in the playoffs still because he's didn't cost you an arm and a leg, and he's keeping you involved. So I got a lot of respect for Rashad White. On the Jag side of the ball, Adrian, I'm not one who falls victim to the Trevor Lawrence discourse. I think he's a good quarterback. Injuries, bad luck, bad teams, questionable coaching. He's had a bumpy first couple of years, but I don't think it can be debated that if you're drafting a quarterback and it's a fantasy draft and you can take any of the QBs in the league, I think he's one of the top 6 or 7 guys off the board, no question.
Yeah.
So I'll give him the love there, but I don't think he's got it this week. I think the Buccaneers are going to pull it through. I think Baker Mayfield is going to go out there, have a good little game. I think the Jags, I think it'll be a shootout-esque if Lawrence is healthy enough to go, like you said, the concussion thing. If Lawrence doesn't go, I think it's a blowout. I think Buccaneers win it. I'll say 31-14, and my contingency is if Lawrence plays. I still like the Bucs. I'll say 27-21.
All right, let me note that down. We've got Armand's just dropped on us underdog parlay in there if we want to. If that's
I can't
something,
tell that, man. You got the Vikings on there, man. I can't tell that.
Yeah,
Man.
Nick Mullins.
I think the Lions are going to wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But look, there might be something to throw in. It's always nice if you got a decent parlay and then you've got one underdog just to bump it up all the way.
Yep.
But anyway,
we got Colts at Falcons. Falcons are 1-point home favorites. Over under 44.5. I hate Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is a huge part of the reason why I have fewer dollars in my bank account than I did prior, because the London parlays fell apart. The Bijan parlays fell apart. All my fantasy teams that had both of them went home. Everybody was in on the Falcons prior to this season. Everybody loved them as a darling. You, Brian McFadden, the media. They have become the pariahs of the NFL. They have become the team that is there not because of its coach, but in spite of their coach, because Correct. They have those pieces that they've drafted. I think he should be fired one way or the other. I saw that he got fined today, $25,000 for failure to disclose Bijan's illness a couple of weeks back. It's that kind of a practice, man. They don't care. They don't care about your parlays. They don't care about our fantasy football, man. They're better than us. I don't know if you know that, Adrian.
He said as much.
They're better than us. And I think they got what they deserved when they lost to the Panthers last week. The Colts, fun and frisky, plucky, Gardner Minshew, Jimmy Ray, they're keeping it alive over there, man. Shane Steichen, Armand, I saw throwing some love to Shane Steichen in the chat. Yeah, 100%. He's been good. He's got them motivated. He's got them playing hard. They have every bit of a chance to sneak into the playoffs as all the other teams we talked about. I hope Michael Pittman's okay. That was one of the ugliest hits I've ever seen in my life last week. I don't know if you saw it, but Michael Pittman
he's listed as injured.
Yeah, he got his neck snapped. Not cute. But that being said, in this game, I think I like the Colts. I can't believe the Falcons are the favorites. There you go, Armand. There's one I'll tell you on. I'll take the Colts in this game. Take the Colts to win this one 24-13.
Yeah, I agree with you on everything you've said about Arthur Smith, particularly. Bijan still from scrimmage is probably, I think he's the first or second highest scoring rookie from scrimmage, and he gets like 12 snaps a game. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, we were fawning over Bijan Robinson at the start of the season. Remember, I was just every week I was like, "Did you see this? Did you see that?" And he's being killed. And Desmond Ritter's been benched, which it's about damn time. I was about to swear.
It doesn't really make much of a difference between the two of them, man.
And you're right. You're absolutely correct in there. And I think to me, that's the coaching thing, because Arthur Smith has been just like, no, he's the dude, he's the dude, he's the dude. It's like, if you can't see that he's not the dude from week 4, like, how is it that the entire league can see, the entire league, the entire fan base? Like, sometimes coaches will say things against it and then they get proven right. And sometimes they just look like stubborn old men who have never been told no in their life. And Arthur
Right.
Smith is the latter. So I think the Colts take this as well. I do it's a pick 'em basically, but to me, the Colts should be favored here, even on the road. So, 28-17.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Adrian, what's your next game?
All right, Cards at Bears. So,
Ooh, and Armand wants to add this one into his underdog parlay if we're feeling
I
frisky.
I ironically wanted to add this as a dynamite game on the fly.
100%.
Yeah, in fact, I'm gonna.
I support it.
I hope you're okay with it.
Oh, more than okay. I appreciate
I'll give it a minute.
you.
Yeah, I'll give it a minute 10 because while we wrap it up and put the timer on. So on the Bears side of the ball here, Justin Fields is playing for his job, and he's doing better at it now than he was doing previously. I think we can agree with that. He's last couple of weeks he's looked better. There's been a few more designed runs. Matt Eberflus has sort of brought a little bit at him that we've kind of been waiting to see. Now, what has also happened, which has made that possible, is the defense has got it together. Fun little stat: Montez Sweat is leading sacks for both the Bears and the Commanders in one season. So he is a genuine dude on the defense, and I think he has kind of brought that defense up to where it needed to be to give the Bears a running chance. They hold up good against the run. Arizona on their side of the ball has the second-ranked rush attack. When I read that, I was like, is that a typo? So Kyler Murray has historically played well as an underdog. He's got that kind of moxie and he likes to prove people wrong. But they were a dumpster fire before Kyler. Even with him back and he's playing a little better, there's still a dumpster fire with Kyler. So I think the Bears take this one to keep themselves looking a little bit respectable. And I think they take it. I can't think now with the pressure.
The pressure got to you, bro. You blew up.
And that got me.
You.
I think they take it 30-23.
30-23. You're like that guy who's letting the firework on the 4th of July and doesn't get away in time.
Correct. I'm just with a stump, like basically.
Yeah, you got a stump now. Way to go, man. No, no, it's tough, man. This is not a cute game. I've been saying that a lot today. This is kind of an ugly slate. They're lucky it's the holiday slate because people are gonna watch it no matter what, because they're gonna be sipping eggnog, opening presents, hanging out with their cousins. So yeah, they're still gonna watch football, but it's not gonna be pretty, I think, at times. Cardinals at Bears. I personally, it's like such a dynamite game. I think the Bears are gonna win because they have a little bit more of a semblance of a team, a little bit more of an identity. I think Eberflus is probably gonna get fired. Do you agree?
I thought so, but they've just sort of turned it around a little bit. So
But not enough for it to matter, right?
Look, I think the answer is yes, but I also don't think it's a lock. Like I don't think it's a lock that he's going home on Black Monday, whatever.
And Gannon's got another year, right? Like Gannon for sure has another year. They'll give him a shot. They'll probably give Kyler a shot. Kyler's looking all right. I'm happy he's back. I'm excited to see what they do in the offseason and who they are next year, because this year was kind of always a wash for them. The fact that they played their way out of the worst record in football is impressive. So yeah, I'll take the Bears to win, but it's so hard for me to even. I love football, and I'll watch. If it's you at QB, I'll still watch. I'll watch it more. Actually, I'll tune in.
I'll DVR
hope so. That one.
It'd be hilarious. I think
31-21, and I don't care really. No offense to those fans of those teams. It's horrible. It's a bad game.
Absolutely love it.
It's not cute.
But speaking of not bad games,
Dolphins at Cowboys. Here's one that I can get behind, good sir. Cowboys coming off of a drubbing by the Buffalo Bills. Dolphins coming off of a game where they made kind of a statement. I mean, they weren't really playing much in the way of competition, but they're looking like they're going to be okay. I think they're setting it up to be an interesting final game of the season, I think. So, I love the idea of Dallas coming in pissed off about the way that they got bullied by Buffalo on both sides of the ball. I love the idea of Dak Prescott coming out and firing. I think the over-under is high for a reason. I think it's a good over-under. I think Dallas shows up and they are the team that they were prior to last week. I think last week will end up being the outlier, the anomaly. Adrian, this is wish casting for sure, but I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Dolphins pretty handedly. I think it's going to be 38-24. I think Tua's going to throw a couple picks. I know Tyreek and Achane are playing, but who knows how effective they'll be as banged up as they are. And I think the Dolphins' streak against winning teams continues.
Yeah, I'm with you that I don't think the Cowboys last week. The Cowboys every year, I say this all the time. The Cowboys every year will just lay an egg, just randomly lay an egg, and you know what? For most teams, that makes you a chicken. But in the Cowboys case, you know what? They're not like they're still
They're the
a
Easter Bunny.
competitor. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to the Super Bowl because I think Cowboys going to Cowboy, but they're still a good team. Micah Parsons is still playing out of his mind. I think he's going to be able to get to two, and I think he's going to keep Tua uncomfortable. I do think that the Cowboys have a big game, but I think it's going to be close. That's the other thing. Look, Tua hasn't. Is it fair to say, despite their scores, Tua hasn't had like an amazing game?
In a
Like
while.
the last game was good, I guess, against the Jets, Steve, which is strong. So I guess I can't fault him there. But
Yeah.
he hasn't.
Without
Been,
Tyreek Hill too, it's impressive.
I know McFadden will hate this, but I've never been a Tua believer, and I stand by it. Like I still don't think he's that dude.
I mean, I'm at the point where I kind of I don't want to knock you here, but I kind of think you have to believe. Like his record is good, his stats are good, his eye test is solid. I don't think I still think I don't know if you see this, Adrian. This is we're gonna get high-minded intellectual football here. I don't know how many games we have left. We'll try to breeze through the rest of them. No worries. There's at least one more,
There's a couple more bangers though.
slobber knocker coming up. So
yeah,
but this one I want to address this. People conflate how far you can throw a football with arm strength. And it's really, really stupid because I don't mean to be rude to the people who do it, but I'm seeing a lot on Twitter of like, oh, Tua doesn't have arm strength. Explain this. And it'll be like a video of Tua throwing a deep ball. And yes, it's accurate. And yes, it's far down the field. But arm strength is different. It's about the velocity that you put on your passes. It's about can you fit it into a tight window, not how far can you throw it. Anybody, Tim Tebow could throw the ball 100 yards. Tim Tebow could throw the ball hard, but he didn't have arm talent. There's all these different terms to explain how good you are at playing quarterback. There's more to arm strength than can you throw the ball far. And I really want that I want to address that on this podcast because it's a football podcast and we're football guys. And I think that's something that we need to stop conflating distance with arm talent.
So I agree with you on arm talent. I think that's the one that people confuse with like just being able to put a deep ball in because talent is so much more. But I'll ask you this: Tua, top 5?
No,
top 7?
Closer,
Maybe,
probably still not.
Yeah. But that's so when I
let's tease it out for the sake of because we're really on the same page quite often when it comes to our quarterback evaluation. So I'll say Mahomes, Allen. We can put Burrow in there out of respect. He obviously wasn't top 5 this year, but he didn't really have the chance to be.
Yeah.
Hurts, Lamar.
Yeah, absolutely have to put them in that. They're the top 5 with whatever order you put them in.
Hurts is dicier this year. Hurts has had some stretches, but
maybe and Dak could probably sneak in over Hurts. I could put
Dak could sneak in there. He's around 6, but then you have your Herberts, you have your Lawrences, you have your Purdy's, right? They're kind of all that next tier, right? Like, am I forgetting any names?
So I would say to you, and I agree with you. If I was building a team, not a fantasy team to be fair, but if I was just building a team and I from scratch and I'm picking my quarterback, I would take Lawrence over him. I would take Purdy over him. I'd probably even take Herbert over him. Over Tua.
Yeah, I think I would too. I don't know if I'd take Purdy over him. I'd take the other 2 over him for sure, though.
Yeah, and so I guess my point, I just think he's not that dude. What I mean is, they can go to a Super Bowl with him, but the 49ers went to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Like you can do it with a guy who can manage the game and who can be accurate and can get hot at the right times. Like, but it doesn't make him that's the difference between a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen or that. Like, I don't see Tua having a bad situation around him that he brings up. I see Tua managing a good situation around him that Mike McDaniels is kind of orchestrated. Tyreek Hill having basically an MVP campaign up until his injury. And I just don't love him. I'm just not part of 2-9. You can be 2-9 if you want. Like that ain't me.
I'm with you.
Yeah, they could win with him.
I think I like him a little bit more than you do, but I don't love him either. Go ahead, give your score prediction. We'll keep it moving.
Oh, okay. I think the Cowboys win this one as well, but I think 31-30. Let's say really, in fact, overtime.
Wow.
31-30 overtime. There's my
Well, it
prediction.
can't be in overtime if it's a 1 point difference.
Yeah, it can because they could just win with a field goal in overtime.
You
Oh
said
no, you're
30.
right. Sorry, 33-30. Sorry, you are correct, sir. That wouldn't work out at all.
They
All right.
just opted for an extra point. They got close enough, and they were like, "We're just no."
Which is not one.
Okay, Raiders and Chiefs. That's you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So the Chiefs are 10-point favorites here. Now it's at Arrowhead Stadium. Look, are you scared of the Chiefs anymore?
Less. I am.
Let's
You
say
have to be. Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce. You have to still be scared of them, but less than I used to be.
I'm not saying they're bad, and I'm absolutely putting respect on all of those names there, right? But they haven't scored more than 28 points since week 7, except against the Raiders, ironically, right? They
Yeah,
haven't
I
scored more than
almost
28 points.
jokingly called this a dynamite game. I don't think it's going to be
Yeah,
fun
like
to watch.
I don't think it'll be. I actually think it's going to be ugly. I think that, but I think you've got the Raiders coming in after putting up 60 plus points, which But I then I also appreciate they scored 0 points the week before. But I
Right.
just think that the line of 10, like I'm taking that line. I'm taking the Raiders to cover.
Wow.
Um, Look, they've got a new head coach who I think is doing a good job, and I think they should have him in the mix next year for a permanent
I
spot.
agree. I agree.
Uh, I almost picked the Raiders here to sneak a win. Can I just say, like, if I was putting
Good.
an underdog
No,
parlay, the Raiders in.
call your shot.
You know what? You got it.
Call your shot.
28-24.
Come on,
28-24 Raiders
28-24
way.
Raiders. AOC is gonna do it. I wish casting. I hope it happens. I don't have the stones that you have on this particular game. I'm gonna chicken out. I like the Chiefs. I think they'll move the ball better than they have. I think Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Justin Watson, the ancillary pieces of the Chiefs attack. I think they'll get, they got Pacheco back. I think I like the Chiefs. I don't want them to win, but I think they will win. I think the Raiders will cover. Chiefs defense is good. Chiefs defense is better than their offense this year.
Definitely.
I think AOC will get scared by their offense. I predict the Chiefs to win this game. I'll say 29-26.
And I chuckled then because if you look at their skill positions, it's like Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, and then it just falls off a cliff. And it's kind of like Kadarius Toney was meant to be their one. He's just dropping more balls every
He's
single
awful.
week. Yeah, and I feel for the dude. Like he started out as a punching bag from one.
Well, why feel for the dude? No offense, like he's mean. Have you seen him go after people on social media? He like messages fans and like sends hurtful
I have
voice
not seen that.
memos.
Okay, well then,
I think he's a bad guy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know him. I can't. You only know a little part of a person when you see on social media. But I think he looks like he's the kind of person I don't feel bad for. Just
yeah, but I think undoubtedly, there's one thing that is undoubted here is the Chiefs need to address this in the offseason. This should be their number one thing is they need some wide receiver help in that room.
Oh yeah,
that's all.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. All right, we got Broncos and Patriots. Man, a couple dynamite games here to close out the show. Patriots are 6.5-point home dogs, over under 34.5. I think the Broncos are gonna wipe the floor with the Patriots. I think they're gonna move the ball up and down the field. The Broncos aren't particularly special on the offensive side of the ball, but the Patriots have very little to play for. I don't really think that they're a very good team in any capacity.
The offense, tanking? Do you reckon they're tanking?
They should, if they're not.
Yeah. If I can expect someone to tank well, I would expect Bill Belichick to make it look like
But there's rumors he's not going to be the head coach next year, bro.
There was a report, and I can't remember who it was from, that decision was made, and then it's like, okay, it's not made yet. So, I said to you, and you and Jimmy Ray, and if this happens, just be ready for a highlight clip coming your way, because I said he's fired, and you and Jimmy Ray both told me that won't happen.
I don't see... even if he gets quote unquote fired, I don't ever think they'll word it that way. I think there's too much respect.
Mutual retirement, yeah.
It'll be a parting of ways. I think it'll be what it will be called. But I don't see the Patriots competing in this game. I think Denver's going to win it. They're not like explosive, so I don't think it'll be crazy. 27-14.
27-14. Denver way.
Yes, sir.
You said yeah. All right. Yeah, I just think just on that, I think Robert Kraft is worrying about how he looks and his legacy, and he and what this looks as without Tom Brady for him as well. He's a billionaire who is not used to not getting what he wants. particularly having a dynasty that he held. So I just think that the way things have gone, obviously the relationship is soured. Uh, he might have. I would love to see Bill Belichick go somewhere else and just redeem himself a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to see the Patriots be good again. I've had enough of that for one lifetime. But I think the Patriots lose this as well. I think the Broncos are playing better, and I think Sean Payton's going well. Can I copy your score? In fact, I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to do it.
No,
27 to
please. Yeah.
14. I
Got my
think
score.
that's a
Yeah, you
great
have.
score. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Actually,
Price is
no.
Right. What?
Yeah, $1 above.
Yep. Yep.
I'll actually say 27 to 13. I think it's gonna. I haven't seen it for much.
You,
Yeah,
you
there it
demon.
is.
I like it. I like it. All right. Good, sir. What's
Um,
next?
I, I'm gonna just make a little scab producer call here. Do you feel like taking your last game and then we'll finish off on a banger?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
You,
We have Giants at Eagles. Tommy Cutlets. Wait, when you say last game, is it? There's still 2 left, right?
no, I've only got one game left.
Oh,
What are
it's
we
this
missing?
and then the banger. Okay,
This,
yeah, I
yeah,
love it.
this in the banger. Yeah,
So what was the scam producer called that I would just be?
that you'd go 2 in a row because Pat's
Oh,
Broncos was yours. So
I
now you go
like it.
again, and then we finish
Oh,
on.
I'm spoiled. Okay, Tommy Cutlets in Philly. All the games that the spreads are double digits. Like I know they're not technically dynamite games because there's stuff that we'll want to watch. Tommy Cutlets has been must-watch TV. Let's be real here. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, he's the passing paisano. I actually really like Tommy Cutlets. I don't know if you remember. I think you were on the show. You might not have been, but I proclaimed this to be his 15 minutes, and I said it's going to be a nice little moment for him. He can tell all his friends he was the starting quarterback for the Giants for 5 minutes, and da 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 da. I think he's playing his way into a backup job. I really do.
totally,
I think he'll be a good
totally.
backup. That being said, I think Philly needs this matchup at this time badly. They desperately need this matchup at this time because they have been getting, for all intents and purposes, they lost to the Bills. I mean, intentional grounding on a play where Josh Allen was getting horse collared, AJ Brown fumbling in overtime, but it being ruled an incomplete pass. The Eagles are on a skid. Whether or not you
Mhm.
count the Bills game as I mean, the books will say they won. The mainstream fake news media will say that the Eagles won, but we know.
Fake news. Hmm.
But I personally think that they are going to have a get right game here, and I like the Giants to make it fun. They're frisky, they're plucky. I think it'll be an Eagles win. I'll say 32. I'll say 19.
Armand just shout out. Sorry, 30-19. I'll tell you. Armand just
Yes,
shouting
sir.
you out. If you get that money, I just want to cut. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, little
Um,
percentage. We'll post our Venmos.
you are absolutely correct on getting the Eagles getting this at the right time. But Tommy Cutlets is playing himself to a backup job. In fact, Tommy Cutlets looks better than Daniel Jones. If you're my honest
He
opinion,
does. Oh, how ugly and
um,
gross is that to say?
like it really is. But like, it just this is why I root for like there's 32 teams in the NFL and I root for like 17 of them because I like a story where someone's not good or expected to go bad. I love an underdog that just sort of shows up. I didn't love it when he did it against the Packers,
Yeah, that sucked.
but that kind of also got me to sort of like the Tommy Cutler story was kind of cute. That was where I really started to pay attention because he can run the ball.
He can.
He can make some smart decisions. Even that final drive on the Packers, there was two. I think it was about a minute 40 left, and it was methodical. He just took his time. Now, courtesy of Joe Barry with his soft defense,
Yeah, Joe
sorry,
Barry's
soft coverage, he's just picking up 12 yards, 15 yards, and then he throws a dime, and then gets him in field goal range. The Tommy Cutlet story is one that I really love, and the Eagles defense is playing terribly, particularly the secondary.
yeah.
Slay's out. I think he got is it arthroscopic? I could be using the wrong word. The
Yeah.
knee surgery.
Yeah.
So I actually think the Giants. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm not going to say they're going to win. I'm going to
Okay,
say
I
they're
was
going
gonna say you're
to
crazy.
they're going to cover though. I think they're going to cover the 12-point spread. I think if I'm taking anything, shout out to your pops
Yeah, he's
jumping on board.
apologizing because he freaking called me like 20 minutes ago. He knows, man. He
Come
knows.
on, come on, Papa
We
Philip
forgive you,
Fox.
pops. We forgive you. You're here now. You got some catching up to do. If you missed the beginning of the show, you got some catching up to do. You have to rewind your YouTube live after, but
2021. No, you know what? How about this? 27-28. I feel like they're going to keep it super close. Eagles are going to sneak through. I do think the Eagles are getting bad. Like the Eagles remind me of the Cardinals a couple seasons ago where Kyler
yes,
Murray was as
so
dangerous as
much.
possible. And then
Yes,
all of a sudden,
so
so
bad. Yeah. I don't know if the
um,
book is out on Hurts. I don't know if he's banged up. I don't know if he's sick, but it's not cute.
I think if you took away the tush push, which you can't take away because they
No,
do it better
100%.
than
I think
anyone,
it's a good. I think it's a fair play. Banning it is
but that
stupid.
makes yeah, that makes such a difference because when they get to third and short or fourth and short, you know they're getting it. It's almost like that's almost a done deal. So
He does this
take
so I
that
don't
away.
have to, guys. My pops does this
Nah,
so I don't have to. Like and
we love
subscribe.
that. We absolutely love that.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's hit the banger.
Let's end it.
Is this the game of the year?
What? That spread is crazy.
Is this the game of the year?
I think it's the game of the year.
Yeah, I agree. That spread is ridiculous. This should just look. I don't know if it's a pick'em game, but this is a potential Super Bowl preview. Um, I say this every week about the 49ers, and I stand by it, and I hate it because if you're watching Mark Falcone, who is a friend of mine who is a 49ers fan, you've just got the most complete team in football. You can
Mark, you
watch
better be watching.
yeah, you better be every Sunday, or in our case, every Monday, and you just don't have to sweat. It's just like, yeah, we're going to win, except for that 3-game skid. You know you're going to win.
Weird
Um,
skid. Weird
they
skid.
and
Almost inexplicable.
Yeah, and they win in so many different ways. Like if you got a bad run defense, they'll rush. If their receiving core is fantastic, they can win tough through the trenches. Their defense can score on you. They just do it all. And Brock Purdy is putting in his campaign for an MVP, and he's now the favorite. Am I right in thinking that?
I believe so. Yeah.
Took the lead over Dak after Cowboys laid an egg.
Yep.
So the 49ers to me are just about a lock for the Super Bowl. I don't want to say, actually, I'm going to say it now. And Mark, if you are watching, you're going to turn off now because you're going to think I've jinxed them. So I think that the 49ers here are really going to do well. The problem is, while they're the most effective offense, the Ravens are the best scoring defense in the league.
Yeah.
So their defense is playing really strong. They could swing the game their way. Look, Roquan Smith is playing out of his mind. He went to the Ravens and then just decided to turn it on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't even say his name properly. Dafe Owe, their linebacker, having his best season yet.
Matabuke.
Yeah, Ronnie Stanley is in concussion protocol, so that's danger. The left tackle
Yikes.
because he's got Bosa and Chase Young. Tackles are going to be pivotal here. So, and he's
Yep.
probably, I would put Stanley in like sort of top 7, top 8 tackles in the league.
Yeah.
I think I looked up his PFF. I think he's top 10 by PFF, but I would put him a little bit higher. Lamar is just carving defenses. He's not running like he used to, but he doesn't have to. And we all killed him when his only trick was the run. So he's obviously stepped it up. They've lost Keaton Mitchell. That sucks. Really like Keaton Mitchell.
So sad.
If Kyle V from our legit football fantasy team is listening to this, he knows I've put no less than 3 to 4 offers to him to try and get Keaton Mitchell, and he just keeps bumming
Come on,
me down.
Kyle. What the hell, man?
Now I don't want him. Now he's I don't want his luck after injury.
The negotiations for me in that league soured so much because I kept trying to pawn off my old guys. And people just got sick of hearing from me. I was like, yo, Adam Thielen for a first. And they were like, yo, lose my number. I got blocked. My sleeper DMs are blocked.
New phone, who this?
So
anyway, all this to say, this is going to be an amazing game. I really do think the 49ers are going to take this here and stamp that they are the superpower. I think it's going to be a high score. What's the over under 47? I'm going over on that.
Take the over.
Yeah, I'll say 35 to 28.
Christmas night, you're nuzzled up with your family under a blanket. You got a nice hot cup of coffee with some tasty creamer in it, and this game comes on your TV, and you are just in heaven. I personally think you're right. The Niners. Give me your score prediction one more time.
35-28.
And you have the Niners winning. So you have them covering as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing
game.
That's
a high spread, and you have them covering.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, I'm judging a little bit.
That's fine.
The Ravens are really good, man. And I don't think that the 49ers are used to playing teams like the Ravens because the AFC is better. We all know it. You know how we know it? Because 6-8 in the NFC is in the hunt, and 8-6 in the AFC is I'm in the 11th place. That's football this year. It's a weird, what, like you said, the season is drunk. I think the AFC is significantly better. So the cream of the crop of the AFC versus the cream of the crop of the NFC, it's a slobber knocker. And I think I'm gonna take the 49ers to win, but I don't think it's gonna be as close as you had it. I'm gonna take them to win 34-31, and I will call my overtime shot.
34-31. So that is closer. That's closer
I do have the Niners winning. I do have the Ravens covering. They're at home. I think that's a huge thing. I think that matters. But the 49ers are battle tested. And I think, you said knock on wood for them to make the Super Bowl because you were afraid they wouldn't. I say knock on wood because I'm afraid they will, and I don't want to
Yeah.
play them. Because I'm Buffalo and I'm going to the Super Bowl. I don't want to play the 49ers. No way.
I so get that. I so
No,
get
no,
that.
thank you.
I think I'm just noted that the time of where we're at, because we're at 109
Oh yeah,
because
we went way over, but I'm good with it. I
not
enjoyed
that.
it.
No, the reason I noted it is because there is a highlight clip coming next week when the 49ers cover here. Let me tell you.
They're not going to.
I'm foreshadowing. It's
I
coming.
wanna. Hey, future us. Kev, way to be on the ball. Adrian, be better. Thank you. You're welcome. I just gave
Do
you
better.
bulletin board content. Ladies and gentlemen,
That's pretty staggering.
it's pretty staggering. Jimmy Ray
It
agrees.
is.
This has been a hell of an episode. Kevin Phillip Fox, holiday episode. This is the Christmas episode. Here with Adrian Ravito. Adrian, anything you want to say to the good people before we say our goodbyes and we give them their holiday wishes?
So two things. The first is I'll give my holiday wishes now. I'll let you have that last word. Merry Christmas to all of you. We will see you before the new year. But to quote one of, like, I would say top two fathers, top three max. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm quoting PK Martini here.
I would say top one, but everybody has their.
I have to shout out my pups. I have to shout out
and
my
yourself.
Pups.
Let's end yourself, right? We'll say three-way
Questionable.
tie. Three-way tie. Yeah, absolutely. Like and subscribe. Show love, man. You got to be on the Legit Football newsletter. You got to check out our other podcasts. This is a huge, amazing, special company that we all get a chance to be a part of. We're super blessed, super lucky. Armand, the GOAT, sending his love. We appreciate you, Armand. Back at you. Thomas, everybody who listens, Oscar, Jonathan, Joe, all our whole family, Jimmy, Anthony, the other Joe, everybody. It's an incredible family, and we're really blessed.
We love you guys.
Love you guys so much. So yeah, now we're on to the holiday wishes. We're gonna get off the line here. I got one more sleep, Adrian, before I go watch my boys in person. Please send positive and well wishes for my mental health at that game. And
Check in on you intermittently. I'll check in on how you doing.
Please. That's love. Merry Christmas, happy holidays from everybody at Legit Football. We might come at you next week with a show. Adrian and I have to coordinate on that, but regardless, all the love in the world. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Good night.